This is going to be interesting because we've got one Zoomer here and millennials, and we're going to ask the chat, what do you think Gen Z is watching today?
I'm not going to be the representative for Gen Z today because I know for a fact I have not watched most of these shows. But, you know, obviously the conversation around Gen Z is they're consuming more social media content and not traditional television shows or movies. It's hard to get Gen Z to pay attention to Marvel movies. Mm-hmm. I saw a quote from Anthony Russo recently talking about Gen Z's collective ADHD that prevents them from enjoying Marvel movies, which are, of course, high art, which would require such intellect so that they're not capable of enjoying them.
First of all, I hate graphs like this, where I'm just like, there's just a lot of dots.
Yeah, disregard that.
Oh, wow.
Look, I'm a dummy, so I look at this and like point me to where the information is.
They found that when it comes to appealing to Gen Z, animated shows are a strong choice. They listed Attack on Titan, One Piece, Steven Universe, My Hero Academia. They're really into anime.
It's really funny because
Fallout.
for millennials, what it was a lot of animated shows that everybody would then daydream about who would they cast if they made it live action. Mm. That's what it was when I was growing up.
Yeah, but then you find out when they actually do the live action version, it ruins the charm of what you originally liked about it.
Yes, right.
So that conversation should have never happened. Mm-hmm. But as far as live action shows, they listed most popular included Euphoria, which is
that's
terrible.
A little scary.
See, no, that's an interesting discussion, Mary, because we assumed that this is a show that was made by a Gen Xer that was supposedly for Gen Z, but ended up being something that millennials were a fan of.
I'm not sure if Sam Levinson is a millennial or Gen X. But
I'm not either, yeah.
It's like a show made by a Gen Xer to appeal to Gen Z that actually had way more success with millennials.
But that's not what this is saying. This is saying
it's just saying this is popular with Gen Z. It doesn't mean that, you know, their prime audience is Gen Z. I think their prime audience for Euphoria is still millennial.
Okay.
But
it's very adult, for sure.
It's incredibly graphic in every way.
How old is the youngest Gen Z, like, Zoomer right now?
So the last year of Gen Z is 2012, so they would be about 14 years old right now.
Okay, so
the youngest Gen Z.
Yeah, they're not watching Euphoria if their parents are doing.
Hopefully not, but these days you never know.
If mom and dad are paying attention,
I hope that they're not watching it, but. Yeah, I think for Gen Z, they would be watching Euphoria to like fantasize about what it would be like to have a social life. Because they're not partying, they're not hooking up, they're not, you know, compared to millennials and previous generations, they're not doing these things.
Yes.
So maybe it's just a way that they can like pour their fantasies about having a social life into their
that's
content,
what it's like to have friends.
And I think even Euphoria, I think they catch clips of it like on TikTok and stuff, and
it turns into viral sounds and like the makeup trends and stuff.
And that's more it than them actually enjoying the show necessarily.
Yeah, and most of the actors are millennials too.
Yeah,
so
it's true.
It's not really popular because it's relatable. I think it's popular for the opposite reason.
Yes.
Even though I think it's terrible that they're fantasizing about living that kind of life.
Yes.
Like, obviously, I don't think it should be aspirational, but I understand the impulse.
Glorified in any way. Which I will say with the bits that I saw with the I don't know if it's drug abuse, like, but they definitely don't glamorize it in ways. I'll say that. So I appreciate that aspect of it.
There's a way that you can't avoid glamorizing it because
to young people sometimes it is like
Zendaya is
not
shooting up heroin on your favorite show, and Zendaya is glamorous.
True.
Right? So you can't really avoid doing that.
And looked up to, yeah.
I think the worst part of it is that it was just so sexually graphic.
Yes.
Like
there's a 20 there.
Who is it from?
That's
Stanzatastic. He said, "Can the guests say, who are you calling a cootie queen?" Yeah, okay, I'm not gonna say this.
It's from an Orbitz commercial.
And then he said, "Since I still have room to write, hey PCC, we got technical issues. What do you got? Felt healthier with no cringe from yesterday, but missed y'all."
Tell me about it, right? A day without cringe. Maybe that's why I come back from the weekend feeling so spry. Because Mary hasn't subjected me to whatever cringe she found that day, and that's why
I'm
in such
not
a better,
sorry. I'm never gonna be sorry.
That's why I'm in a better mood on Mondays. That's probably it.
They also listed Fallout as one of the most popular with Gen Z. I hated the first 2 episodes of Fallout, and that's where I dropped
Loki's on
off.
there too, which I found surprising.
Really?
Yep.
That's interesting.
What about Stranger Things?
I don't think Stranger Things is on here.
It's I think it's in a different demographic where it falls. I think I saw it on the list at some point here.
I think that's got to be most popular with millennials and Gen X,
Yeah. Yeah,
especially
I think
because
it
it's
is.
about the childhood experience of Gen Xers. It's nostalgic in a way. But I don't know. Do you guys like Stranger Things?
Oh, we adore
I
Stranger
love
Things.
it, and I have a 17-year-old, so I have a Gen Zer, but yeah, she loves it. It's one of her favorite shows.
It just fell off so hard. I couldn't come back to it. And then
Oh, but it gets
they're
so
making
good
episodes that are
again.
literally feature-length films. And they
Listen,
did
It's cinematic.
Time out.
though.
Time out.
It's-
Have you not watched season 4?
I don't think so. I think I dropped off after 3.
Girl, it got like as good
gets-
as season 1.
It gets fire.
Here's the thing.
No,
though.
it was like it was
I
a
find that hard
moment.
This
to
is a
believe.
meme.
Everyone will say it. Well, like I said.
This is a meme where people say, "Look, once you get through the first 5 bad seasons, it gets really good in season 6."
No,
Yeah,
no,
it's
no.
like too
no.
much investment.
Listen, even like the critical drinker, he had bashed season 3. He was like, "This is a return to form." Like,
Right.
like it got
Yeah.
good
This
again.
is how that's how a lot of people felt. Like Arrow had 2 really, really good seasons. 3 was meh, 4 was awful, and then 5 was really, really good. I love season 5, but I'm not going to begrudge someone who's like, "Yeah, I didn't watch all the way to season 5. 'cause 3
Season
and 4 were
3
garbage."
for all of these shows seems to have a curse. Like they just can't make it past 3.
Well, you
Without effing up.
if they do, look, a lot of the great network shows, it's about 5 or 6. That's when you
Yes,
start
yeah.
running into.
like a sweet
if the
spot.
show is
Yeah.
the show is formulaic, you can get 5 really good seasons
Yes.
out of something by reusing the formula and then using variations on a theme on certain episodes throughout them. But once you get into season 6, usually like if it's a procedural, the point is like the rule used to be season 1 you remake the pilot 24 times. You just do 24 versions of that pilot, and then you can start branching out. But depending on how quickly you start getting into characters' backstories, that's when it starts to get convoluted and you start to lose interest. You start not spending time where the show needs to be spending time. I literally just tweeted yesterday about how the great thing about 22 or 23 episode seasons was great Christmas episodes or great Halloween episodes of shows.
Yes.
You can do that with 22 episode seasons or 23 episode seasons, right? You can't really do that with like an 8 episode arc unless it's dire to
Yeah.
the plot.
How long has it been
Right.
since the last season of Stranger Things?
It came out summer, and that's the thing. And
That's
that
somewhere
Before
that's
Millie
what-
Bobby Brown
I'm
got
just-
engaged.
I'm just trying to sell
Yeah.
her to go watch it. There were 2 things that dominated summer 2022 in pop culture: Maverick and Stranger Things
Yeah.
season 4. Like it was
But
good.
like you're making me wait 2 years between
Listen,
seasons. Like that's
it
crazy.
gets annoying. Yeah.
You know,
That's crazy.
Netflix has a problem like that because they clearly don't have their actors under contract to where we're number 1. You come back to
Right.
us before anything else, and I think that
Yeah.
is an issue. But I will say, if you're gonna make 9 episodes of that amazing of television, I'll wait 2 years.
Well,
like,
they did
that's
the
how I
same
feel.
thing for Euphoria season 3, where they said they let the actors go. They said if you want to go work on other projects, you can. And now they're pulling them back in
Yes.
to work on it again.
Right. And
Right?
then it's been so long that they have to do a time jump in the show.
Why does
They're
Finn
not
Wolfhard
high
have a
schoolers
beard?
anymore? And why does
Right.
Finn Wolfhard have a beard now? It's getting awkward. They also listed Wednesday.
That's going to be a big
I liked
problem.
Wednesday.
I liked
Yeah.
Wednesday a lot.
That's going to be a big problem for the Harry Potter show on HBO. If they're going to do 7 seasons that are supposed to
Ooh, yeah.
represent 7 years at Hogwarts, they can't,
Yeah.
like, why are the kids 30 now? Like,
yeah.
And I just don't get why they won't contract that like they used to do with, which is cable television. Like in cable television, if you signed on for whatever show it was, X-Files, 24, that was the first priority. You could not go do another movie. You could not do anything else. Your first priority as an actor legally
Well, I
was
mean,
to the
well, that
show.
will
There were
likely still be-
contracts signed.
There were
right?
contracts.
They will still
yes.
be under contract. The difference is they will air a season and then they will wait to see the response.
Right.
When
they don't
it's
have
network,
faith in the show.
when
Yes.
it's network television, they start a season and it goes for 9 months, and they can gauge audience response by the Nielsen ratings
Yes.
as it goes, and that impacts their revenue because advertisers base their spend on the 18 to 49 demo. So if you're doing what they're doing on cable or what they're doing on HBO Max, they just go all in, they film it all at once, and then they move on. So what they would try to do, you would assume, is try to do several seasons at a time.
Yes.
But, what if they, you can't have them do 3 seasons at a time, because they would theoretically look different from season 1 to season 3.
But they're not going to have these child actors for the Hogwarts show under contract for the next 7 years or more, 8 years, if they don't have faith in the show to begin with.
They will. I mean, if anything is gold for them, it will be Harry Potter. They've invested too much money in Harry Potter.
I have seen Hollywood ruin too many IPs to actually believe what you just said.
I think that
if you can ruin Star Wars, you certainly can ruin Harry Potter.
The worst,
even with J.K. Rowling signing off on it.
The worst Harry Potter stuff will do better numbers to them than the average HBO show.
I'm sure that's what they thought about Star Wars shows too.
The Disney is a different beast. I don't consider Disney
and I will
the same.
say that David Zaslav, yes, however you say his name, that took over Warner's. He's not Bob Iger.
To be fair,
he's not.
They did just write like a $9 billion loss this quarter, so I could be wrong.
Well,
I could be totally wrong.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he had to take over an inherited mess.
He's cutting a lot.
He's cutting a lot.
But
and with bringing J.K., I think they'll try to do it just. It's not going to be a Star Wars under Kathleen Kennedy. I doubt.
We'll have to wait.
That's hard to do. That's hard to do.
That first season of that Harry Potter show will be very, very telling as to whether they're going to get a lot of seasons of it. I do feel bad for those kids because they're going to be subjected to all sorts of weird political propaganda and be asked to have comments about trans rights and stuff that they probably don't want to have to talk about at all.
Hopefully they're like, what's a trans?
Yeah.
What's a...
But they're child actors, so I'm sure they're being prepped
like a transformer,
for that right
you
now.
mean?
But
Sketch Therapy says Brett is unrealistically optimistic. Well, the Harry Potter video game that just came out last year, Hogwarts Legacy, did really, really well.
That's
right?
so different than a show that runs for almost a decade. Like, that's such a different commitment.
I would caution because, yes, the Fantastic Beasts movies didn't do nearly the numbers that the original Harry Potter movies made, but that wasn't the property. It wasn't the Harry Potter franchise proper. It was adjacent stuff that was not based on source material. Depending on how close they stick to the source material in season 1 and 2, you will be able to gauge how well the show does. But there are a lot of millennials that have a lot of love for those characters and it is a franchise that has been passed down to their kids, right? Like, it's not just something where it's the thing where the parents can be like, we can go to what is the Universal theme park called? I don't.
What is it? I've never been to it.
But the point is like a parent
just
can
Universal?
I'm saying, but the Harry Potter part of that park, right?
Yeah.
They can bring their kids there, and the parents and the kids can both get something out of it. So I think that there is a strong demographic across multiple generations that can make that show.
So it's just going to skip over Gen Z because it's millennials and their kids who are Gen Alpha.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I didn't grow up around anybody who liked Harry Potter because all of our parents banned us from reading Harry Potter. I didn't know anybody who liked it. I never liked it. I never got into it. So
we didn't either.
I don't understand the appeal.
Look,
I watched the movies because actually the viewers wagered me to do so. I just didn't care for it.
We've reacted to the first 4, and I'm like, it's okay. It's all right.
So what they have to do is, like, right now, yes, Amazon ruined Lord of the Rings with the Rings of Power, but HBO did House of Dragon, and that show gets rave reviews and great numbers. So if it ends up being closer in adaptation to House of the Dragon, only for people that like Harry Potter, it could very well be just as successful.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it's doomed. There's a chance. We'll review it when it comes out.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.